Welcome to Wallace on Wire. Today we're talking about Muhyiddin's corruption and money laundering charges. And today is quite a significant day procedurally, isn't it? We're focused on the Kuala Lumpur High Court.
That's right.
It's the scheduled mention date for former Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin. So not the trial itself starting, but a really critical check-in.
A very critical step. It determines what happens next with the trial.
And just to remind everyone, we're looking at 7 charges in total. 4 for abuse of power and 3 for money laundering.
Yeah, and what hits you immediately, I think, is the sheer amount involved. The allegations revolve around, well, 232.5 million ringgit, RM.
A staggering sum.
It really is. Not just a minor issue. This kind of figure puts the case right up there. We're talking about fundamental questions regarding, the integrity of high public office.
Absolutely, and that's what we want to unpack today. What exactly are these 7 charges alleging? And maybe just as importantly, how did this case even get to this point? It's had a bit of a bumpy ride legally.
It certainly has. Procedural history is quite something.
Okay, so let's tackle the charges first. Maybe we can split them. Those first 4 counts, the abuse of power ones. What's the legal basis here? It's Section 23(1) of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2009, correct?
Correct. Section 23(1) is really the foundation for these 4 charges. It targets specifically an officer of a public body using their position, their office, for some form of gratification, for themselves or for someone else connected to them.
And the unique angle here, the prosecution's argument, seems to center on his dual roles at the time.
Exactly. That's the perhaps novel element they're pushing. The fact he was prime minister and simultaneously president of Party Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia.
Bersatu, right.
So the argument is he allegedly used this combined power. It wasn't just about using the prime minister's office for, say, personal cash. It's about potentially directing state power or decisions to benefit the political party he led.
Creating a potential conflict of interest.
Precisely, where state influence might flow towards party funds.
And the time frame for these alleged offenses is quite specific, too, between March 1st, 2020 and August 20th, 2021. And the location cited is the Prime Minister's office in Putrajaya.
Yes, a period of roughly 18 months. And the sources of this alleged gratification, the RM232.5 million, are also named.
Who are they?
The prosecution points to 3 companies, Bukhari Equity Private Limited, Neptrus Private Limited, and Mamfor Private Limited, and also 1 individual, a Datuk Azman.
So the implication is some kind of alleged quid pro quo, funds from these entities in return for something linked to his position.
Well, that's what the prosecution will need to prove in court.
Yeah.
That link between the funds and an action or decision derived from his official capacity.
Okay, so those are the 4 abuse of power counts. Then we have the other 3 counts of money laundering charges. How do they fit into the picture? Is this about what happened after the funds were allegedly received?
Exactly. Money laundering charges focus on the proceeds of an alleged crime. You receive illicit funds, you then need to make them look legitimate or, launder them. So these 3 counts deal specifically with RM195 million of that larger sum.
And this RM195 million, according to the charges, came specifically from just one of the entities mentioned earlier.
Yes, from Bukhari Equity Private Limited. That's quite interesting.
It is. So the abuse might involve RM232.5 million from 4 sources, but the laundering charges zoom in on the biggest chunk, the RM195 million from Bukhari Equity.
Correct. And tracking how that money allegedly moved.
And the charges specify the method. Where did the money allegedly go?
Into the Party Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia Party account. Specifically, the account held at the CIMB bank branch in the Kuala Lumpur Tower on Jalan Ampang.
Okay. And the transactions weren't just a one-off?
No, the charges detail 2 main periods for these remittances. First, between January and July 2021, and then a second period from February to July 2022.
So potentially spanning quite a long time, even after the alleged abuse period ended in August 2021.
It suggests a potentially ongoing process of receiving and integrating these funds into the party's financial system.
Now let's talk about the legal roller coaster this case has been on. It nearly got thrown out, didn't it, back in 2023?
It did. That was a huge moment. On August 15th, 2023, the High Court actually struck out all 4 of those abuse of power charges.
Struck them out completely. On what grounds?
The judge found them vague and baseless. The reasoning was basically that the charges didn't specify clearly enough how the alleged abuse of position related to the gratification received. It was a major blow to the prosecution.
Wow. So how did they recover from that? What happened next?
Well, the prosecution didn't waste any time. They appealed that decision to the Court of Appeal. And the Court of Appeal overturned the High Court's decision. They reinstated all 4 abuse of power charges.
A complete reversal.
A complete reversal. A massive win for the prosecution. The Court of Appeal essentially decided that the charges, even if broadly worded, did have enough substance to go to trial, especially concerning that link between the dual roles PM and party president and the alleged benefit.
So the charges were back on the table, sent back to the High Court for trial. That's quite a dramatic turn.
It really underscores the legal battle that's been playing out. And it wasn't the only attempt by the defense. They also made a formal submission to the Attorney General's chambers asking for all the charges, all 7, to be withdrawn entirely.
And the outcome of that?
The Attorney General's chambers rejected that submission. So after all the legal arguments and appeals, we're back to the full set of 7 charges proceeding towards trial.
Which brings us right back to today's mention date. All that procedural fighting leads here to the High Court judge needing to set the actual trial dates.
Exactly. The procedural hurdles seem to be cleared, for now at least. Yeah. The focus shifts to the evidence.
And it sounds like the prosecution is gearing up for a substantial trial based on the number of witnesses they're planning to call.
Definitely. They've indicated around 30 witnesses.
30? That's a lot.
It is. It suggests they're building a case not just on bank statements, but on human testimony. People potentially involved in government decisions, party finances, the banks.
And there's one name on that witness list that really stands out, causing quite a stir.
Ah, yes. The prosecution confirmed they intend to call Tengku Zafrul,
the current Minister of Investment, Trade, and Industry, a sitting cabinet minister.
That's hugely significant, isn't it? It immediately makes you ask, why him? What does Tengku Zafrul know about decisions made back in 2021 that relates to party funds?
Well, his previous role is key, surely. He was finance minister during that period under the administration in question.
Precisely. He would have had a direct line of sight into government finances, major approvals, potentially decisions related to the very companies named in the charges.
So his testimony could be crucial for the prosecution to connect the alleged actions of the then prime minister to the flow of funds from those companies.
It seems very likely. His testimony, and especially his cross-examination, will be intensely watched. It moves this beyond just party accounts into the realm of, core government functions during that time.
It certainly raises the stakes. Having a figure like Tengku Zafrul involved confirms this trial could touch upon some very high-level government decisions. So, with the charges reinstated in this witness list, the trial, whenever it starts, is going to be incredibly significant.
No doubt about it. For Tan Sri Muhyiddin personally, of course, but also for the broader political landscape and perceptions of accountability.
Okay, so let's just quickly recap. We've got the 7 charges, 4 for abuse of power linked to the dual role, 3 for money laundering involving RM195 million allegedly going into the Party Pribumi Bersatu Malaysia account.
Stemming originally from alleged RM232.5 million involving Bukhari Equity, Nepturus, MAM4, and Datuk Azman.
Right. And after that significant legal back and forth where the High Court initially struck out charges only for the Court of Appeal to bring them back.
And the Attorney General refusing to drop the case.
We're now at the point where the High Court is setting the trial date.
And it's worth reflecting, perhaps, on that legal journey. The fact that a High Court decision calling the charges vague was overturned relatively quickly by the Court of Appeal. What does that signal?
It suggests maybe a greater willingness or ability now for the judicial system to scrutinize these complex, high-level political cases, even if the initial charges face hurdles.
It certainly points towards the legal system pushing for these allegations against powerful figures to be fully aired in court, despite the complexities or the political sensitivity. It's a trend worth watching.
Indeed it is. This trial will be one to follow very closely. Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.